Good evening, everybody. Tonight is Monday night on the 15th of August 2022, and I'm really pleased to be joined from Denmark. I apologize, it's been quite a long time since I've been online. I've been busy with summer and various pursuits of all sorts of things, but I'm really excited tonight to meet with my Danish new friend who is a coach and author of a newly written book called
Called
Kenneth. What's its
Kenneth. What's
name?
his name?
170
170
mental and
mental
tactical
and
game
tactical game
exercises
exercises
For
for
badminton, yeah.
badminton.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
170 exercises, mental and tactical, I call it. And that's just to show people that the content has nothing to do with what traditionally is focused on in badminton practice, technical and physical stuff. So a lot of game exercises, fun exercises, which also actually develop some mental competences that are really necessary in order to enjoy the game and in order to improve your level of performance.
And who do you think who's it aimed at?
Yeah, but it's aimed at everyone. I, 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 I chose not to put age groups and different exercises and so on because the individual exercises, and I also write it in the book, of course, the individual exercise can be adjusted just by changing some of the parameters in the exercise time or the frame or change the chord a little bit, things like that. So it's not about elite players or children. It's about developing competencies that are necessary for getting the full joy of the game, and also, of course, if you want to be really good at this, it's important that you are able to, for example, reflect and change when the opponent changes things and so on. So it's for everybody. Children can reflect when they are 8 or 9 years old, so everybody can do that.
And how can we go back to the start? How did you start in badminton?
I started as a player when I was 12 years old because when I was a child, they built a school with a hall just next to our house, and then we started, a couple of my friends and I think we were lucky that we were a group of boys that actually started at the same time and grew up together. And actually, this group of players won the first team championships, Danish team championship for Jutland ever. That was a group of players from my club there.
Brilliant. And that was just next to where you lived, so you just went all the time.
I started really late actually. I was 12 years old when I started, but the
Oh
first
yeah,
3 or 4 years I actually lived in the hall, and I was so fascinated. I remember the first time I actually made a backhand spin shot, and I experienced that move of the shuttle, and that it was impossible for the opponent to return it. And it's a pity you can't see my arm now, but the hair still rises on my arm when I think about this. And from that moment, I actually was hooked, really hooked. Uh, and really that the things you can do with that special shot we have in badminton is it's really fantastic.
Yeah, certainly it's an amazing art, isn't it? It's real. People have often commented on how the movement of a shuttle and how the control and really artistic. It's not really. It's quite an artistic sport, isn't it? Do you think? It's quite artistic. I always think.
Yeah, it is. I think it's because of the shuttle's nature. It's a sport that can offer experiences that no other sport can offer actually, because we can make so many strange things with the shuttle. We can make cut shots where we actually hit it really hard, and the shuttle moves really slowly, and we can make spin shots, and the shuttle changes nature during a rally also, and you have to relate to that also in your tactical considerations and all that. So and the nature of the shuttle actually means that badminton is a game that's really tactical and really demands uh, abilities to reflect, because reflection, that's just the process where you change when your action doesn't have the consequence that you expected, then you have to change next time you're in that situation. And uh, if a shot becomes slower and slower during a long rally because you know the feathers will puff up somehow, then you have to change your tactics just regarding to the nature of the shuttle. So that's really fascinating.
Yeah, on the fly. And when did you play from 12? Did you play competitively for Denmark?
Yeah, I did. I was when I was 19, 20. I was number 2 or 3, 4 in men's singles in Denmark. I'm the same. I born same year as Morten Frost and Stephen Fladberg, as
Really?
example. We are the same. What you call in English. We were born the same year, and I actually played against Morten Frost my whole career and was always just half a level under him. But
Really, yeah.
yeah. So, but I have played. I was number 8 at the world ranking list in men's singles at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see my interview with Morton?
No.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. He's obviously just taken over in Badminton, England, which is fascinating.
I know that.
And she's over here. I think he's been over here for a long time now, hasn't he? I think so.
If Morten has been in England for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's just a couple of months ago he got the job.
Is it just travelled, is it?
Yeah. That's half a year most, actually.
Did you ever spend any time in the UK?
No, not. Yeah. I played all England for 15 times or something like that, but never for a longer period. No.
What is it you think about Denmark and badminton?
Yeah, but I think there's 2 or 3 reasons that Denmark actually can compete against the Asians and the big Asian countries. First of all, we are a nation of what do you call that in English? We have clubs and associations for everything.
Really?
Knitting clubs and horse riding clubs and badminton clubs and clubs where they discuss and everything, and all that tradition goes all the way back to a Danish philosopher called Grundtvig, who started this whole the movement here, and actually. All those clubs we have for everything in Denmark actually, is a learning ground for democracy, and also is a context where Danish people learn to be critical and learn that they are allowed to speak out and they are allowed to have their own opinions and they are forced to make their own choices and stuff like that. And exactly competences like this is what is needed in elite sport in general, and also in badminton, of course. Nobody can help you if you're in there. So I think that's one of the reasons. One of the other reasons is that historically we always have continuity in our system, meaning that players have always been able to practice upwards and to get inspiration from better players, and we have a lot of discussion in Denmark, and I'm one of the main parts in this discussion. When Victor has moved to Dubai, Victor Axelsen moved to Dubai now, and I don't know if you follow some of the stuff I wrote on.
I mean, it's obviously a very, very contentious debate, isn't it? It's seen as quite a selfish thing, I believe, but yes.
For me, it's not about Victor Axelsen. He's not the problem. He can make the choices he wants, and from his perspective, it makes very good sense what he's doing, because there's a lot of money in this, for sure.
Yes.
So it's not about Victor Axelsen. It's about the Danish association have to react somehow and to try to find out how do we handle this, because this is I'm a professor at the university also inside learning philosophy, and we know that if the top in a learning environment disappears, then the level of the next players in this situation that will be lower actually, and the big problem of course will be if Victor's decision makes precedence and Anders Andersen will move also, and if 1 or 2 or 3 of the guys move, then it's finished. Then we have a problem. Yeah. It's finished. Then we have a big problem. Definitely. But it's not Victor Axelsen's problem. It makes sense what he's doing from his own perspective.
I'm surprised it's not been done before.
Sorry?
I'm surprised it hasn't been done before in all the years that's gone by with elite players, and everybody wanted to compete against the Asians for years and years, and it's surprised that nobody's thought, I'm just going to move to Asia and become like an Asian player, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that's never been an issue, because the way the culture and the relation the relationship between coaches and players and all that stuff in Asia is so different from Europe that doesn't appeal to European players. And I think when Morten Frost was younger, he moved to England for a period. And people ask me, yeah, but why is it a problem that Victor moves now when Morten Frost had moved and that didn't, and nothing happened at that time? But that's actually what I respond on this is that nobody knows what happened at that time because we didn't do any research. Maybe if he hadn't moved, we could have been better than we are now. We don't know actually. But the main thing is when Morten Frost and Paul Erik Højer also moved at some point, we didn't have a system like we have today actually. Today all the Danish players are together every day and practice. And at that time when I was playing also, we didn't have a system like that. So you can't compare the situations 40 years ago with today. But yeah, I'm excited to see what will happen actually with the future for Danish badminton. Because if the systems fall apart, this system that's so special for Denmark and only Denmark, with all the clubs, we have over 700 badminton clubs in a little tiny country like Denmark. 700 clubs, and all the clubs are driven by volunteers. There are no professionals. So if this system falls apart, then I'm afraid we are done.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen. I think the talent will always come through. There'll always be somebody with passion, whether there's facilities available. I think there'll always just be a new level. There'll be somebody new, wouldn't there? There's always new talent coming through. 13, 14-year-olds coming through now. Yeah. You'll see them yourself.
Yeah, it's difficult to say what will happen actually. But for sure, if this tendency continues, that the best players moves abroad, then for sure the top level of Danish players will drop, for sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned going back to a conversation offline. You haven't played for 13 years or so.
Mm. Yeah.
And how you decided to stop?
Yeah, but
was it injury or how did that happen?
No, because I stopped on elite level when I was 30 or something like that, and I played a couple of years after that in small clubs where I was coaching also, and at some point I felt that actually I knew what to do. I could see everything in there, but my body couldn't do it anymore. Because I didn't practice so much.
So was it frustrating? The things I'm always very interested in this. You're also in the psychological side of things as well. I'm always interested in is it when you played at an exceptional level and you come down to a club level, how hard is it? How is it to come into that? Once you've been it, are you always saying, oh God, it was so I've done it myself. You go to clubs and you think, I'm actually getting worse instead of better. Is there an element of that? You think when you played internationally and you played exceptionally, and when you start playing poorly, you think this is so frustrating. I can't compete as I used to.
Yeah, for me it was anyway. But there are players, elite players, that continue playing for their whole life and become world champions. Dan Travers, as example, I saw yesterday from Scotland, became world champion plus 65. He's the same year, born same year as I am actually. And maybe if you just continue playing a lot after you have been elite player, you don't actually experience that you become more that you're not so good as you used to be. I don't know. But I did, and actually I played badminton because I think it was really, really fun. And as I said in the beginning here, and when I couldn't bring myself in positions on a court to achieve those experiences anymore, it wasn't fun anymore.
Really, you just got frustrated. You came away more annoyed than you went, and that's not the purpose of it, is it? The purpose is to go and enjoy your time.
Yeah. And as I said, of course, when the older you become, the more smart you become. If your brain is working just in a normal way, then you become smarter and wiser the older you get, because you get more and more experiences, of course. And that also meant when I look at badminton today, I think it sounds a little bit arrogant to say this, but when I look at badminton today, I can see everything before it happens. And if I went to a badminton court and I can see everything, but I can't do anything about it, then it's not that fun actually.
Were you always a singles player, Clive?
No. I played in the beginning until I was 25, 26. I played mostly single, but then I played mix and doubles the last couple of years of my career. Actually, I was in quarterfinals of All England doubles at 1 year, beating actually Billy Gilliland and Travers. In the,
Really?
so I remember that. That was the year when the Seedek brothers won, I think, with that Seedek serve. They introduced in All England, and we couldn't return the serve, so they won the tournament.
What do you think your career highlight was when you were professional?
From a result perspective, or what?
No, from your personal perspective, just whatever. Just what when you think back to your career as a badminton player, what do you feel that, what was the highlight?
But in '79, that many years ago, my partner, who was called Mogens Niergaard from my club in Aalborg in Switzerland, him and I, we won the Danish championships in men's doubles in '79, and that was the first time anybody from Jutland, a clean couple from Jutland, where both of the players were from Jutland, had won the national championship actually. Until then, it was the clubs in Copenhagen who had won everything. So that was really big. And in the final, actually, we beat Morten Forst and Sten Fladberg. So that was huge and a big sensation in Denmark. That was fantastic. And we played that tournament in a really iconic hall in Denmark called the KB Hall in Copenhagen, which burned a couple of years ago, the old one. And there was 4,000 people or something like that. That was really a big experience because it was the first time, and Jutland versus Copenhagen and all that. So
that was it. That was your favorite. We can go back to the books then. How long? I guess how long has it been in the making? How long is this? Is it made of notes that you've made over years, or is it made of recent observations, or is it made of recent things?
It's made through the years. I have done practice, badminton practice, where I've always implemented one or two exercises every practice for 44 years in a row. I have made practice where one or two exercises were these kind of exercises, which were not technical or physical or game matches, match games or whatever, and all those exercises I made, I have just kept, and they've been stored in my brain actually. And many people have asked me through time, can't you give us some exercises, or don't you write them down? And I didn't do that, unfortunately, but they were there in my head actually. And as I said, not many coaches work in this way, and could be many explanations for that. But when I wrote that book, it took me to write the book itself in Danish. It took me a month.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah, 175 pages. Because everything was in my head, and the theoretical stuff behind the exercises. This is what I do at my job. I got a PhD in learning philosophy, and so the theoretical stuff was just there. I didn't need to research into that, but then it just poured down on the paper. What took the most time here was translating it to English. Actually, I did that myself also.
English is obviously very good.
Yeah, and luckily I had a program called Grammarly.com.
Oh, I love Grammarly.
Yeah, fantastic. And I didn't know about it before I started. And one of my students who's majored in English, she told me, "Oh, why don't you use that program? We use that." And then I used it, and then boing, then I could see, wow, this is not funny English anymore. So,
Kenneth, I'm English, and I use it all the time because my grammar's.
Yeah.
I don't know where to put commas or full stops or paragraphs or.
Yeah, exactly.
I am appalling. It teaches you about semicolons. I haven't got a clue.
No.
Yeah.
But that took a couple of months. I did for June and July. I made the translation for 3 or 4 hours every day, and then I had to find out about publishing it on Amazon and all that. So
it's not for a particular age group, but it would be for particular pursuit. Is it different things for singles? Is it a very personal thing? Is it things for doubles, singles, men's, kids, whatever? Is it?
Oh, no.
No.
Now, it is really in general about developing, these mental competencies, like the ability to anticipate. What does it take to anticipate, to be able to look into the future and move before time on court? Because that's the same competencies needed, no matter if you play single, double, or mixed double, or whatever. And the same with that. I have a group of exercises about developing split vision, the ability to look at, at several things at one time and all that. And that also take the same competence, no matter if you play single or double. So, as example, when I have all my exercises about developing reflection, the ability to change when things doesn't work out as you planned. I have split them up in one against one exercises, one against two exercises, and two against two exercises fundamentally. So that's what comes closest to single or double situations actually.
So things like predicting where somebody's going to play a shot, is that what you're talking about? You're talking about just thinking quickly.
Yeah, as example, as what separates world class players like the top elite from the sub elite. That's not physical or technical stuff at all, for sure. Actually, the sub elite many times have better physical performances because they have to compensate somehow for. But what separates them is the ability to react when the opponent try to destroy your successful choices and whatever it is. That's what we call a reflection process. That you are able to see what's happening, to analyze why didn't it happen like I expected to, and what do I do next time. And they have to do it actually while they're standing on court. Nobody can help you there.
Yes.
We call that reflection in action. And that means that the coach can't help. And actually, personally, I think it's a catastrophe, all that shit. Can I say shit in English? That's okay.
Yeah.
All that shit with the coach being allowed to coach between rallies. In Denmark, I was sitting in the Danish board for many years as an elite and talent responsible. And we actually, we forbid, up to I think it's under 15 or something like that, we forbid coaching between rallies because we don't want our kids to do what they're told. We want our kids to take their own choices because actually that's what they have to do if they want to be good at this also.
Yeah, you've got to learn from your mistakes. You've got to make mistakes to learn from.
Exactly. And yeah, you're really right, and that's a really good point. And actually my whole book is building on the premise that mistakes are fantastic, and mistakes are the fuel of the learning process.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with that. And I interviewed a Scottish player called Jim Mailer, who, I don't know, you might know that name. He's Scottish. He used to travel down to Wimbledon in London to play with Morton Frost and things when he came over. And he was a Scotland #1 for a few years, and he competed closely with Bruce Rocket in Scotland. And his first memory of was playing the Scottish Open and getting beat in his first singles 15-2. And he came away from it and he said, I can't have that. The humiliation was too much. He says, that's never going to happen to me again. And he went back home and trained and became physically aware and just practiced. And then the following year he went back and ended up in the final with the same guy and beat him. Yeah. Because it was that lesson of learning what not to do, right?
Yeah. Because if you don't fail, then your existing knowledge and your existing skills are good enough, and then you just leave the court the same player as you went in, and that's okay in some situations. But on elite level, your opponents will try to destroy your existing knowledge, and then you have to be able to see mistakes as a wow, shit. That's really nice. Now I have a chance to find out what to do next.
Yeah, amazing. So you've enjoyed the exercise, you've enjoyed the process of writing a book and putting it out there. I saw a couple on the Facebook saying the Danish team are going to start using some of the exercise in the book. Is that right? Or does that already happen?
I'm not sure if I heard that, Martin. Could you repeat it?
Did you mention that? I think you mentioned something online about the Danish. Was there talk about them using some of the exercises in your book within the Danish training program?
Yeah, I think they use some of the exercises now. They didn't read the book yet because it just came out yesterday. But they use some of the
Only
exercises.
yesterday it came out. Is it only yesterday? Is it? I didn't realise.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it was. Was it, when was it actually? Was it Friday? I think I don't remember. But actually, they use some of the exercises, and some of the exercises are well-known exercises in Denmark. Also, when you play around the court as a basic exercise, I have make a lot of variations on that exercise to develop some of the competences I said here. But I think that many of the exercises are new exercises. As example, one of the exercises I'm really a little bit proud about inventing is playing single, where you have the net in the full height at one of the posts, and then it just goes down like this, and at the other post it's a height of a tennis net, and then we play a normal single, and you can imagine how different they have to think
Yeah.
with a net like this. This is a pure reflection developing exercise. What in hell do I do now? So exercises like this, exercises where players always are disturbed and they are not allowed to do in 2 seconds what they had success with 2 seconds ago.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. I can't wait to buy it. I'm going to go buy it. I've not done that yet. So and it's on Amazon. I'll put a link to the book in the subject, so
Yeah,
everybody
fantastic.
can share and go and buy it. It's definitely. I'm looking forward to reading it. It sounds absolutely fascinating.
I think actually it's for sale for $10, and I think actually it's too cheap. But I found out that Amazon they have different salary percentages for authors.
Commissions.
Yeah, commissions. And if you want the high commission, you have to sell the book between $1 and $10.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I actually imagined that I talked about selling it for around $22 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's also really cheap. But if I sold it on Amazon for $22, I would actually earn less than if I sell it for $10.
I see. The question from, do you know a chap called Andy Stewart?
Sorry?
Do you know somebody called Andy Stewart?
Yeah.
So Andy Stewart's question was, what are you going to spend the money on?
I think I don't have any idea about how this is money wise. I don't think that maybe if India and Indonesia and all those guys to get their eyes open for this, there could be money in it. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, best of luck. But it's really exciting to see a book about badminton, because there is nothing, is there? There's nothing. It doesn't happen now, right?
No. I think it's. I checked the literature on Amazon about badminton.
There's nothing, is there?
No, that's. Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, but there's nothing like this out there.
No, I agree. No, there's nothing to find, and I certainly missed it. And I think the world has changed in that respect. My son's writing now, and he's in journalism. The world's changed. It's all about YouTube videos, and it's not online. And he writes articles that are 4,000 long. And if you've got to scroll down to read the article, down the article, there are videos, and they get monetized by the videos they're playing whilst reading articles. That's the world now. It's all about YouTube.
Yeah, but you're right. But I really, really hope, but I'm not sure, I really hope that players and coaches will read this stuff, because, and again, I know I sound a little bit arrogant sometimes, and I don't care, because the stuff in the book can actually make you smarter. Really, for sure. And it's not a YouTube clip or whatever. This is actually science based, and I've tried to write it aiming at the target group, of course. So I really hope that some of them will try to read this for everybody.
I'm glad we've had this chat, because I think when you see the title exercises, for some reason people think about serving into hoop hoops, that kind of thing. You know, when you think of exercises in badminton, people will automatically think of, you know, a lot of little physical things and a lot of that kind of thing. So I'm really glad we've had this chat now. I understand it's really important because I think the psychological importance of play is really important for players. And it's yeah, I mean, everybody focuses on the physical, get stronger, bigger smash, bigger backhand, you know, but nobody really talks and promotes kind of creativity, you know?
No. And as I said in the beginning of our talk, there could be many reasons for that. Probably the main reason is that when coaches become coaches and have played before, they just coach as they've been coached themselves. And we say that in my language that systems like this reproduce itself. That things just go on and on like they always have done. But the main thing about trying to implement some of the stuff I talk about is not being Olympic champion or anything. It's because it becomes much more fun to play if you actually are able to anticipate, if you are able to move before time and just make a plan that succeed or change something into a plan that will succeed. It becomes much more fun to play badminton, and I think that's the main message in what I'm trying to tell with the book, actually.
Fantastic. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for your time and your listening, Kenneth. I'll let you go down. I know you watched me fairly early tonight. It's 5 to 7. I apologize for technical issues at first, but it's standards in my world, I'm afraid. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. It's been a pleasure.
It's been great. Lovely to meet you, and we're friends now. We'll see you again.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you.